What's up, everyone, and welcome to Shared Save the Game Media's weekly gaming discussion podcast. I am your host, Kevin, and on today's episode, we're making our Gamescom predictions. We're also going to be talking about if it's time to finally move away from last-gen consoles and our mystery Patreon topic, which you'll find out a little later in the show. Before we get to that and more, back again, my co-host for Shared Save, Sam Heaney. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. I'm finally on the cusp of finishing the current IGN project. Good news for me, though, automatically lined up with the next one. So no free time. But what's new?
I assume you're not allowed to say what the next one is.
I
Yeah.
am not, I'm
Yeah.
afraid
Yeah.
not.
Oh, okay.
But hey, there's lots of things coming up in the next month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah. I'm
So
trying to think. In the next 2 weeks, we got lots of projects, lots of games dropping. So might be a good one. Might be a
what could it
good one.
be? Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's got me in jovial spirits because as much as I think Wu Chang is like fine, I really do want it to be over. So it's like it's right there now. It's a few hours away, I think. So
I
fingers
saw they
crossed.
I saw they put out a new patch that prevented like certain enemies from dying because like it
Yeah.
offended the Chinese culture or something, and it like broke the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it just doesn't make sense now. Like characters are dead or alive; they should be dead, or
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's weird. It's weird, man. It's I've said it plenty of times. Like it's fine. It's just I don't get the praise that it's gotten from some people. But
I've literally seen people say it's the second best Souls like after Elden Ring.
no chance. Lies of P exists.
Liza P does exist, and that
So
was a good one.
and also Bloodborne. So
I don't know. I think
that's
I liked Liza P more than Bloodborne. Just saying.
disgraceful.
Just saying.
Disgraceful. Anyway, how are you?
I'm doing well. This week has been less stressful, still a little stressful. My fiance, we thought she fractured her foot. Luckily,
Ooh.
she didn't. Just injured a little bit, so that's been a little stressful. But taking care of that, I had to get an X-ray. I'm kind of being the waiter right now, walking around like, what can I get you? What's your order? But it's all right. It's everything's going well. I'm excited. I got a 3-day weekend, and I need it because I'm burnt out. But why don't we jump into our show? This is the second episode of Shared Save. So thank you to everyone who checked out our first episode. And hopefully you're returning. You liked what you heard and you're coming back weekly because we are going to be live every Thursday right here on youtube.com/save the game media. If you can't catch us live, we post every Sunday morning on free feeds. All right. It's no longer Fridays like Project X Talk was. All right. It's not the day after. Patrons over on patreon.com get that exclusive 3-day early audio access. So if you are on the free feeds, please support over there, follow us, drop us a like, drop us a rating on those feeds. It's the same feed as Project X Talk, so you don't even have to resubscribe to a new one. Just drop us a new rating. We would appreciate that. If you want to support us even further and get that early audio access, head over to patreon.com/save the game media. Choose the tier that's right for you, and you can get bonus content like the monthly Q&A that I'll be doing. People have been dropping me questions, and I'm looking forward to answering them. We're also going to give you an exclusive bonus episode of Shared Save just for patrons, where we tackle all the Patreon questions that they submit for the weekly topics that we didn't pick for the main show here. So your questions will get answered, even if it's not in the public episodes. But I want to thank our current patrons. So thank you to Savoy Prime, Sam Hall, Todd Oxtra, Alpaca Tom, Rick Davis, Silkenet, Dave Harp, David Hotright, Lillian, the Xbox Expansion Pass, Marcus O'Neill, Brendan Myers, aka The Winter Gamer, Nikolai at Night, Fabulous Brianna, Brianna's mom, and Brandon Jastrembemski. I'm just getting Brandon, dude. I can't. Your last name's
That
impossible.
sounded good though.
I know. I think I'm getting closer. I also want to give a shout out to Black Wyver for checking out the 7-day free Patreon trial. So if you want to just dip your toes in, submit some topics, listen to that early audio access, listen to the bonus, previous bonus exclusive stuff that we have from Save the Game Media. I'm going to try to get out a Q&A maybe in the next week or so. I think I'll do the monthly one so we can have a good little spread. Do the monthly Q&A kind of in the middle, and then our bonus episode towards the end of the month, I think, will be our cadence. So now that we've got housekeeping out of the way, why don't we jump into what have you been playing, Sam?
Well, obviously, still Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. I spoke about it last week, so I'm not going to speak about it again. I think I'm on my, dare I say it, 4th New Game Plus run of that game. End my suffering.
I see Silken playing it. I don't think he hates it nearly as much as you. I might be wrong. I haven't heard him talk about it, but I think he's in the chat.
I remember seeing something from him in the Discord where it was like it was okay. You know, he is on the sort of middle of the road, nothing special line. He's probably higher than me, but I'm glad that there is some consensus out there that it's like, you know, so I'm not completely mad. Because I feel like I kind of know my Souls likes at this point. I've covered plenty of them and play a lot outside of work. So still on that, unfortunately. But 2 other ones, nice little mix up. I mean, to be fair, I had a good few last week as well. But the main one I've been playing is Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
Interesting.
Which, for people who don't know, was like a PS2 game back in the day. It's a relatively sort of rudimentary third-person shooter. But it's, if anybody is aware of what Prey 2 back in the day was going to be, where you're sort of like going through urban environments and you're a bounty hunter and you're sort of locating targets and tracking them down and capturing them. That's what this game is. You are going through linear levels with a little bit of exploration, and you're following a story and you're shooting up enemies, but you're also able to scan every single NPC in the game. And some of them will be non-hostile, some of them will be hostile, and you can see if they have a bounty on their head or not. And if they have a bounty on them, you can mark them and then capture them, or bring them in alive or dead, and earn money based on that. I will say this: it's a very hard nostalgia carry. Okay, Kev, like it's not great.
It doesn't look great. So I did just try to pull up a video. For some reason, it wouldn't play when I shared it. I'm gonna blame Bing Video for that. All right, it didn't bring me to YouTube. Brought me to Bing Video.
That's where you went wrong.
Yeah, it looked very very old, like not like a super high quality remaster, personally.
Yeah, I mean, Aspire did it, so like they're very hit and miss. Obviously the Battlefront collection was a tire fire. I mean, I still played and platinumed that, but
you platinumed it?
I did. Okay.
As soon as I saw that there was no online Galactic Conquest, I was out. I was like, that's the whole reason I play this game. That's my favorite game mode.
Yeah, I'm just a heathen. I'm sorry. What can I say?
Psycho.
But yeah, I'm probably like halfway through the game now. Really nice, actually, just to visit something from your childhood like that looks now as I probably felt it looked then, and that's still not looking great, but much better than it used to. So that's fun. I would recommend it. It's relatively cheap. So if you're a big Star Wars fan, if you like playing as bounty hunters in games in general, you like Jango Fett, then this is
more
for
of
you.
A Boba Fett kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, you're the strong silent type, I get it. And the only other thing I've been playing for a very specific reason is mouthwashing. So I saw, because I follow it, that a new wave of merch had come out specifically on Fangamer for the game. It's like some new T-shirts, some new like little collectible things. And I saw that and I was like, I kind of do want something merch-wise for mouthwashing because I love the game so much. So I did pick up a T-shirt, and then I was like, well, why don't I just replay the game? It's like, an hour and a half, 2 hours long. So I just dove back into that one evening over the past week, and my God, man, it's a really heavy game, but I think it's just fantastic. Um, I can't recommend it highly enough. It's
It's on my
creepy.
wish list.
Yeah, I've been trying to encourage a few different people to play it, people that I know would like it, and they haven't yet. So I feel deeply, you know,
Ignored. Yeah.
yeah, my feelings are hurt. But
Well, we got to play it before the payment processors refuse to let us buy it. You know.
that's right, that's right. And this would be the kind of game that they would do that to for sure.
Yeah.
So it's they don't give it as far as I can remember, but it's a very trigger warning kind of
Mm-hmm.
game. But it's one of the games that I know is probably going to stick with me forever in some capacity, where it's just like every so often I will just think about specific moments from the game because they're so either like visually striking or like the reveal or the emotion that it stirs up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very artsy game in the similar vein to like 1,000 Times Resist, where the presentation obviously isn't top tier because it's very pixelated and mouthwashing, but the topics it tackles and how it presents them are like second to none in my opinion. So hearty recommend for mouthwashing, especially considering how comparatively cheap it is to a lot of games nowadays, and it's not a massive time investment. So that's what I've been playing, man.
I'm really excited to eventually play it. It's just it's a little too. It's still like every time it goes on sale, it's still like $12, which I'm like for an hour and a half experience. I
Yeah,
really need it to be a little cheaper still. So it's one like I will get it. And for some reason, there's a few games that aren't on like Fanatical and those like cheaper sites. They tend to be the smaller type games, and I think that's one that I looked up and wasn't there. So I'll get to it eventually. I do want to. Everyone's talking about how impactful it is. Even you, like how deep and resonating the themes are. So I do want to. I do want to get to it eventually, along with 1,000 X resist. I just,
yeah.
I got to get to them.
I'm also waiting for. I mean, a physical console version of mouthwashing is already confirmed. Obviously, both of those games, 1,000 Times Resist and mouthwashing, are only on PC currently.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be picking up the physical copy of mouthwashing for sure, and I'd do the same for 1,000 Times Resist. Got to get those platinums, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
disgusted.
Yeah. Yeah. You are. You are. Everybody
I'm
knows
not
it.
sorry though. Silkenet,
Uh,
thank you for agreeing with me. Good man.
Yes, yes. Silkenet says mouthwashing is a masterpiece. Shout out the nerd chat hanging out with us. I think that's Chipotle Bear, if I have to remember correctly. I did want to let everyone know. I should have said this during housekeeping. I didn't write it down. Twitch recently enabled subscriptions for every channel. Now, we can't use the subscription money until we hit affiliate status. So if you are listening to this on YouTube or audio feeds, please head over to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Save the Game Media. Drop us a follow. I'm going to try to start streaming there more. Obviously, we do this podcast on YouTube and Twitch. But I am going to start trying to stream some games when I have time, either Sundays. I have every other Monday off, so maybe then try to get that Twitch affiliate status, so maybe we can have a little more income to put into the podcast, things like that. So just throwing it out there, I know where my Amazon Prime subscription is going, you know what I'm saying? But that is some housekeeping I wanted to mention. Everyone, appreciate any follows. Just you don't even have to subscribe yet. Just follow us. That would be fantastic. But let me talk about the games I've been playing because I've been playing quite a few different games. All right. So obviously still playing Peak. The new update came out. The Mesa update. I think that's
I think
that's
it's
what it is.
Mesa,
Mesa.
technically.
That makes way more. Black Mesa, yeah, like
Mm,
the Half-Life update. And it added a desert biome. And my understanding is that it's going to rotate with the Blizzard one.
yeah.
Um, so I did the desert one. We made it to the. I finally escaped the peak. I made it to the top. All right, but the desert biome has to be the hardest one.
Wow.
It is brutally difficult. Not only is it just like complicated to climb, like the way it's shaped, but also the mechanics on it are very difficult. So if you're unaware, you will burn alive if you are in the sun. You have to stay in the
Oh,
shade on in the desert. And there's a kind of like a day and night cycle that goes throughout the level. So there will be periods of shade. You have to cross a desert before you get to the actual mountain you have to climb. And in that desert, this is the fun part. There's giant sandworms that will create a pit that pulls you in and then will eat you.
that
As
doesn't sound very fun,
as
Kev.
Kyle figured out when the ground caved beneath him and a worm ate his body.
Lisa Nagaib.
Yeah. So they've added new mechanics. They've added some new items as well. They now have like a cannon that you like put yourself in and you can fire yourself across like gaps, kind of Sea of Thieves style. So they're making some updates. They're adding like new gameplay elements, some fun features. I just continue to have a blast. Like it's not a game I'm constantly playing like every night hopping into peak, but like if you get a good 2 hour plus session like once a week with your friends having
Yeah.
a bunch of laughs. I know we jumped in last weekend and we were all having a fun. You were doing unspeakable things to Bing Bong. Just really good time. I continue to have a peak, and I think it's on sale right now for like $4. So if you got a group of friends, highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
The other game I have been playing is a new one that just came out, and people probably aren't familiar with this series. It's a indie 3D platforming series that I've been a fan of. I got the first, I got one of them in like one of those bundles on Steam, and a new one came out, and this game is called Tory Saturn. Okay, I'm not going to share the audio. Why is it? There we go. There's the video. So you play as this little chicken and you go through it's usually like 10 stages, and the whole premise is kind of collect these stars and go through the levels as fast as possible. It is very much a speed running type of game. Redo things to get the best time, try to figure things out. They added new mechanics, as you can see in this trailer. You can build up some speed now. This one is very Sonic coded, whereas the other ones
Yeah.
I would say are more are less so. This one is definitely about speed, about hitting things, getting more jumps in the air. The other ones are standard 3D platformers. This one, probably not my favorite, but there is like so much new movement in this one. Again, they're very cheap games. I think most of them are available for like 50 cents.
Right.
And that's because they're about 30 minutes long. Including this one where I beat it twice, so I have like an hour of playtime. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun to go through, but it's not something that's going to like demand a lot of your money or time. It's just one of those like if you like these types of games, why not support a indie developer who's making
Sure.
like these fun little games?
Awesome.
And then the last thing I've been playing, Sam, is Injustice.
I have many
Gods
questions.
Among Us. Yes. What are your questions? I will take them now.
Why?
I got a free code for it,
That'll be
and
why.
I've never played Injustice 1.
Mm.
I've played Injustice 2, and I was like, all right, I liked Injustice 2. I'll go back. I'll play the first one. And now that I have it for free, there's no reason not to. It's a pretty short game, and like if you just do the story mode, right? And I gotta say, the step up to Injustice 2 is massive. Like going back to 1, I was like, damn, like not only do the graphics look pretty bad, like pretty dated, especially Wonder Woman. I have no idea what that character did, like what they were going for with that character design. But even just the gameplay elements, you can feel the upgrade when you go to Injustice 2. Like this one's stiff, the movement isn't very fluid. The kits on each character, like I think my favorite, like Green Arrow was probably one of my
Mm.
favorite, and then the Flash, because they felt like playing as the characters. Everyone else, I'm like kind of just punching and kicking everyone. All right, like there's no real setting everyone apart. So not overly impressed with Injustice 1 compared to 2, especially, which was to be expected. Story still good. It's a classic, if you know the Injustice story, but I had enough fun with it for a few hours, and now I'm ready to move on.
That is exactly my experience with Injustice back in the day. I played through the story of both, dabbled very, very lightly in online for like maybe an hour, and then bounced. So
I don't play Injustice Online mainly because one, I'm not good at Mortal Kombat, so and I'm not good at Injustice, but also the gear system that they added in two is awful, just an
yeah,
awful system.
yeah.
So if you're looking for online fighters, find me in Smash or Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear is the
Mm.
2D game I will play online for sure.
How you feeling about Marvel Tokon next year?
Oh, dude, I got it wish listed. I'm
Oh,
pretty
okay,
I'm pretty
okay.
pumped for yeah. That game looks dope, and knowing that it's from Arc System, like this is gonna
Hmm.
be amazing.
Yeah,
Did you
awesome.
check out the Evo footage?
I did. I watched a fair amount
Ooh.
of Max Dude's stuff
Mm-hmm.
just naturally because that's one of the people that people watch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to proclaim to have any idea what's going on, but it looks great,
Yeah.
and everybody who knows what they're talking about says it feels great as well. So I'm like, well, if there's going to be a game that could get me into fighting games,
Yeah, it's never been a question for me of it feeling good because
mm,
Arc System, like they make the best 2D fighting games that I've played. I'm not a big 2D fighting guy. Like I'm very much more like Smash Brothers is my fighting game, right? Or even other platform fighters like Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. I got the platinum. I got the 1,000 gamer score. Like I love Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. All right, platform fighters are where it's at for me. But Arc Systems, I will jump into their 2D fighters. I played Guilty Gear. I tried the Dragon Ball one, which I'm terrible at, but it's really good. And
right?
then I even played Blaze Blue, which I thought was also really good. They just feel fantastic to play. So I'm excited. I don't know if it's a day one for me.
Sure,
Just got to see what when it comes out. What's my budget looking like that year? But I'm really excited to play that one.
awesome. Maybe we'll fight each other.
Maybe, and then we'll see who wins. Me. It's gonna be
Yeah,
me.
you
It's gonna be me.
yeah.
All right, Sam. Well, that is it for what we've been playing this week. So why don't we jump into your topic for the week? I think yours fits better as the. We won't start with you every week, so don't get used to it. But
Okay,
I
okay.
think I think I think yours is a better one to start with. Let me just change the little thing here. Okay, so we're gonna do. Well, I'm gonna let you introduce it. What are we doing?
So, Gamescom is coming up. Opening Night Live is on the 19th,
Hmm.
4 days time of recording. And I thought, what better time to just have a little chat about what we're expecting to see, make a few fun predictions, toss some things out there, get overexcited, set ourselves up for disappointment.
Hmm.
I thought
As is
that
the
is
case with the
what we
Jeff
should do.
Keighley show. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Jeff Keighley is always disappoints. Although I will
Does he
say,
always disappoint?
the Game Awards have been getting progressively better, in my opinion. So, Summer Games Fest, I think that's the
Summer
hit or
Games
miss
Fest is
one.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Summer Games Fest is awful. Game Awards, I always have a good time. Like we do our live react every year. I
Hmm.
usually have a pretty good time. Sometimes I go back and watch the clip of you and me, like just reacting to the Alan Wake
Jesse.
2
Yeah.
Jesse 2. Yeah, yeah. So just remedy, please show up. All right, guaranteed good time.
Maybe that's one of your predictions.
Maybe it is. Before we
Maybe.
get into our predictions, want to let everyone know we will be live reacting to Opening Night Live Tuesday, August 19th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want to hang out with us, watch the show, please come over. I don't even know how long it is. I think it's 2 hours.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, should be a good 2 hours. Fun
Hmm.
time. So, Sam, how do you want to do this? You want to? We have three predictions each, and we've
Yes,
we've categorized them. We have a lock, a
we do.
maybe, and a long shot is what we've called them. Do you want to start with the lock and then get progressively, more disappointed?
Yeah, I think that's a good way of doing it, ease
All
ourselves
right,
into the sadness.
all right.
Um, so we didn't classify like these had to be specific to any given
No,
publisher or
nope.
genre or anything.
Whatever we want.
I will slightly jump the shark, and I will say that mine happened. I mean, I made a fair number of predictions, but when I whittled them down to what I wanted to talk about, they did actually all end up being from PlayStation.
Of
Surprise.
course, yeah.
What a shocker. But that's, I think, because it's outside of Nintendo, which wouldn't show up at something like this. It's
Hmm.
the publisher we know the least about, so I think that they have the most to say. So naturally, my sort of predictions emerge from there. But my lock, take it to the bank. The Halo collaboration for Helldivers 2 that has been teased will be officially shown off ahead of launch. So
Okay.
opening night live will happen. What's that? Exactly a week away from launch of Helldivers 2 on Xbox. I think that they will show off the um, collaboration, whether it's a skin, just a skin pack like the Killzone one was, or whether it is something slightly larger. I have seen, I don't know whether you've seen this, Kev. There has been some speculation in the Helldivers community that this is actually going to coincide the Xbox launch with a slightly larger update
Mm.
that and I think people are again setting themselves up for disappointment. But people have been speculating, what if
Don't even say
alongside the
it.
ODST armor,
Don't even say it.
they added in like the flood?
Yep, I know that's where. What if we fought the Flood? What if we go to the Covenant planet or fight them?
I'm just, you know,
Listen, man, would it be awesome to see Banshees and Covenant drop ships coming in, dropping off like hunters? And yes, yes, it would. All right. And for that reason, I want it to be true. I feel like we're jumping the gun there. Like I'm with you. I can see in terms of a lock, I can
yeah,
see the update being confirmed, them officially revealing like, hey, get your ODST armor, get all that stuff, right? In terms of anything more Halo coming to the game, like we don't even have things that like PlayStation should be considered a lot, like what Resistance or
yep,
Killzone or some stuff like that. Like we don't have those enemies in the game, and we're over here talking about like the Covenant and the Flood joining. Don't get me wrong, amazing. Probably would get me to install the game and boot it back up, at least for a little bit. But I find we're really stretching for that one.
yeah. I think I don't think that that's out of the realms of possibility at some point, but I think people may be expecting that to be a thing that coincides with the launch on Xbox is far too optimistic, in my opinion. I think that those kind of collaborations and updates can happen, especially with it now being on Xbox as well. And they're playing ball seemingly
Mm-hmm.
with Halo, at least in terms of skins. So I can't see why they wouldn't play ball unless they wanted to make their own version of Helldivers at Xbox. But if they were going to do that, I don't know why they would be doing this. So yeah, we'll see. But I think that announce the cosmetic pack ahead of time, say that it will be available at launch on
Mm-hmm.
Xbox and on PlayStation, and that will maybe, for the last week leading up to launch, drive some more pre-orders, get more hype and buzz talking about it, getting ready to go into launch and have it be a big moment. So that's my lock.
I think that's a pretty reasonable lock. I totally see that happening. Again, man, that would be such an awesome update though. Like what it just feels like that someone wrote that down as like a pipe dream and they convinced themselves that like, oh, it's just totally gonna happen.
Too good to be true, I think.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of those things that you were like, oh, I bet they're talking behind the scenes, figuring it all out. And in reality, like, I'm sure they've had conversations along those lines.
Yeah.
But again, does it make sense for PlayStation? Maybe it does to license. Like they'd have to get the licensing from uh Halo Studios, Microsoft, right? And they'd probably, I mean, Xbox would get more money. It would get them more money on the game. I think
Yeah.
more people would buy it,
I mean, it's a win-win for Xbox and PlayStation. It's
which makes
proliferation
me think
of
PlayStation wouldn't do it. All right.
that's yeah. I don't know though. Like, if you're wanting if you're going through to the effort of putting Helldivers on Xbox, you want it to do as well as possible, and the way to make it do as well as possible, seemingly with the ODSTs, is to make it as appealing to Xbox players as possible. And a way to do that, and also I think bring people from PC and even PlayStation back into the fray, is to have that Halo, the technically the first appearance of a Halo thing on PlayStation, have
Mhm.
that be a bigger moment than just a cosmetic pack. But I think it is ultimately just going to be a cosmetic pack. So
We did see the, and we're not going to talk about it officially, but like that data mine, I think it was, of like Halo, was it Halo Wars on PlayStation,
I
or was
think
it?
so. Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly. Hey, which seems like a very weird one if we're going to start bringing Halo over. Like, yeah, let's give them Halo Wars. What?
Just
Hey,
easing them in gently, you know.
you're Spartan Assault, guys. All right, that's a good lock. Why don't we jump into my lock? Which I like how we both did the same thing. We blacked out our predictions, so we can't see them in the
I saw you
document.
do it, and I was like, well, I might
Yeah,
as well do it as
yeah,
well.
exactly. You might not say mine's a lock, all right, but I'm telling you,
Okay.
it's finally gonna happen. We're finally going to get the release date
Oh
of
no.
Hollow Knight Silk Song. All right, give me my clown makeup.
Copium.
Nope. This is a lock. It's
No.
coming out this year. Xbox has told us as much, right? I said Silk Song finally gets a release date alongside the Xbox Ally. We know for
Okay.
a fact the Xbox Ally, we've had the release date, the price, all leaked. Xbox told us that Silk Song would be available at launch. At launch of the Xbox Ally. If the Xbox Ally is really coming out October 16th, which is 2 months away, Silk Song has to get dated next Tuesday. It has to. There's no other space in between then. It's time. It's going to happen. You can down me all you want. You can give me the clown makeup. I'm firmly believing and standing behind this statement.
Everything you see in this showcase is coming out in the next 12 months, Kev.
No, listen,
You know, that
that's
Xbox
different
told you
though.
that.
That's different though, all right? It was going to come out in 12 months. And then Team Cherry was like, what about instead of 12 months, 3 years?
So you don't think they can do that again? You think Team Cherry, after all this time, they're going to be like, well, we need to make sure we're out for the Xbox Ally because the Xbox said so.
I feel like the fact that they went and say, hey, can we show Silk Song playing on this device in our showcase? Like, you aren't going to screw us again, right? Like, I feel it in my bones. Silken it's with me. He says, I'm with you, Kev.
I want to believe.
First of all, I don't even care about holiday associates. I'm not even gonna play the
Okay,
damn
that's
game.
disgusting.
I'm
That's
not even gonna
horrific.
play the damn game. I'm just so sick of it capturing the zeitgeist of every showcase. I want it to finally be dated, released. Then we can move on.
I platinumed Hollow Knight. You know, I'm ready for it. I'm day one, obviously. So I want to believe, but I've been burned too many times.
October
Kev.
16th, you'll be playing it. Mark my words.
On the Ally X.
On or before? I don't know about that. That's a little pricey there,
Oh
Sam.
yeah.
It's a little pricey. I'm a big spender, but PS5 Pro or Xbox Ally X?
Nah, we don't need that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or a PC, which is almost the same price at this point.
Yeah. I like the ambition. I appreciate it. And you putting it in lock, it's bold, but maybe you're manifesting. We need that at this point.
Silkenit just hurt me in the chat. It's okay. I understand I hurt him, and now he's lashing out. He's coming back for me.
It's what you deserve, Kev. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You know.
I understand.
Yeah.
Maybe one day,
Maybe.
but it's not any day soon. All right, Sam, do you want to go to your maybe now that we have two confirmed? Just place some bets. All right, you're going to open up Sports King, whatever, Gamescom section, place the bets.
Yeah. So I feel like logically this probably should be another long shot, but I think that with how much we have technically heard about it, even if we haven't heard about it, I'm going to say that my maybe is either a tease or an official reveal of some kind of the rumored God of War
Mm,
Metroidvania. I think like so the interesting thing is that PlayStation will inherently, I would assume, as they have traditionally done, hold a state of play next month in September.
hmm.
So you would think maybe, considering again Gamescom, typically not the biggest announcements in the world, they would hold, especially big first party things, for the state of play. But I think the state of play next month is probably going to end with something else. And as big of an IP as God of War is, they have Santa Monica has given stuff to Jeff before. I think it was Game Awards where they showed Valhalla
Yep.
off the reveal. And like a 2.5D Metroidvania, smaller God of War game, I think like that could fit the bill for one of these shows where it's not like the megaton announcement. It's not like the next mainline God of War, but a smaller spin-off thing that has a quick turnaround of maybe it comes out in January or February or something. Yeah, I think it's high time we hear about it because
Hmm.
all indications suggest it's real. And from insiders, we were probably supposed to have already heard about it by now. So if not now, it would be at the state of play. But I feel like if I'm making a guess, this is one of the announcements PlayStation could make that they might give to Jeff.
It's funny because this was genuinely, I'm being serious. This was almost my maybe prediction.
Amazing.
Uh,
Like
because
minds.
well, no, the way I think about it is Jeff always gets one thing from PlayStation. At every
Yeah.
show, I feel like they always give him something, whether even things just like, "Hey, we're going to show you the artwork for The Last of Us Online that you're never
Hmm.
going to play. We're going to give you the Miles Morales or no, the Spider-Man 2 release day. That's what it was. They give them small things, they give them big things, they give them something. And in my mind, I was like, okay, we know this is rumors been out there. It apparently got delayed until 2026, right? Or is the rumor? We don't actually know if that's the truth. I think Jeff Grubb said that, but there's
Yeah.
no official confirmation of it being delayed. Um, so in my mind, I was like, I think this is one that they can show now and then remind people as it gets closer, whether that's this fall, whether that's early next year. Like, hey, just remember this game's coming out because I'm not picturing this as like a big seller for them. I think this is very much like, especially if it is what Atreus focused, like it is going to be a smaller, more niche God of War project.
Yeah. And there's conflicting information as well. Like there's been discussion that it is Kratos maybe
But like
in
Greek, right? And then I also
exactly
heard the
back in
Atreus
Greek
thing. Yeah,
before
yeah,
he was
yeah.
a god. We've heard Atreus and we've
Oh,
heard like
just what I
getting into the
wanted in my
weeds.
God of War game. No godliness.
We heard even like Deimos has been thrown out, which is Kratos' brother,
Hmm.
which was tackled in the PSP games. But yeah, but whatever it is, I think it's going to be small scale, not super long either. I don't even think it's, from all indications, being developed actually by Santa Monica. I think it's licensed out to a third party studio with support, which is fine. And that also kind of lends credence to the idea that they might show it here.
Was
That
the
it's
rumor
technically,
that was the rumor Virtuous was working on this as well?
I
Are they
I
the
don't think so.
no?
It
I must be
was
thinking of another game.
what was it called? It was like something Kitchen was the studio,
Game
maybe.
Kitchen?
Maybe? No.
They do they did Ragebound and Blasphemous.
That's in my head as being associated with this.
I
I'll
mean,
look it up whilst
if
you
they're
talk about your.
associated with it, I think the level of quality that we can expect to just the bar will be raised.
Yeah, I mean, I people, a couple of people had mentioned like think of it similar to Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, and like I
Mm,
adore that game.
it's gonna shut the studio
So
down.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that the tragedy, you know. But if it is even close to that, it doesn't have to match it because
Hmm.
that is excellent 2D
Hmm.
Metroidvania. If it gets close to that, then I'm all in. So we'll see. But that's
Okay.
my maybe.
Okay. On one, I'm teetering on. Let's see if that shows up.
Hmm.
My maybe probably again. I think it's probably a little safer than yours, just because we have kind of had like a leak, rumors of this coming out, but Little Big Planet remastered.
Oh.
Because I feel like we heard about that a while ago at this point, and nothing ever came of it, right?
Mm.
And I don't remember which Little Big Planet it was. If it was the first one, it was the third, whatever they were doing. If this is Media Molecule's way of like, hey, getting our toes back out there, if they're the ones that are going to put this game out because they haven't released a game in God knows a decade plus at this point, because
A long
Dreams is
time.
not a game, right? Uh, if this is their reintroduction, like, hey, we'll generate some revenue for Sony, appease them while we're actually incubating our next project that they've only been working on a little while now. They're having some studio issues, people leaving. I think the last founder just left the
Yep.
studio as well. So I think Little Big Planet is a small enough title, as we were talking about. He doesn't get the giant stuff, but I feel like Little Big Planet is small enough that we could get this at something like Gamescom and it would fit the
Mm.
show. It wouldn't blow everyone away, but it's one of those things like I see it, I would be happy, be like, oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing where it's like PlayStation is again like comfortable giving
Mm-hmm.
Jeff this kind of thing where it's like PlayStation is at the event. It is a big deal to those that care, but it's not one of the like prime time blockbuster bangers that they would save for their own shows. So
It's
I
it's
think,
not a end state of play announcement, right? It's
yeah,
not a yeah.
exactly. I think, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it. I I just don't know what's going on with Media Molecule, man. Like
I'm surprised they're around still.
I mean,
And
yeah,
I
for
say and I
sure.
say that very like I don't want them to be closed, but
Yeah.
am very shocked that they were not on the chopping block.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it a few times on No Limits, but like, I think the main reason they're around is still around is because they won BAFTAs, which is like a big deal. I think they were the first studio to do that as well.
Mm.
Now, obviously, that can only carry you so far, and I think like it's undeniable that whatever their next project is kind of going to be make or break for them. And especially because, like you said, the leadership is fully vacated now.
Do I see? I'm gonna say your old name, Ghostly Guides, because I can't. Wang Sheng Wham. Ghostly Guides. Does anyone want Little Big Planet anymore? Haven't they fully moved to Astrobot? So I know Sackboy's Big Adventure wasn't Media Molecule. That was Sumo Digital. But that is a phenomenal game that got criminally overlooked. Sackboy deserves another shot, in my opinion. I don't see why Sackboy and Astro can't coexist personally. I think they offer different types of platformers. But again, I love Astro. I also love Sackboy.
Yeah, I mean, my thought would be that they are going to focus on Astrobot and push that as like the kid friendly IP. But then Holst and Nishino, people that heading up PlayStation, they have said that they are actively interested in making more family friendly titles, and I think they even said specifically IP. So, not that Little Big Planet or Sackboy has any kind of cachet now, but it is you're not building from the ground up necessarily. There is like a foundational understanding of Sackboy. Now, could you argue that Sackboy and Astrobot are a little too close together in the fact that they're both kind of like mute and cute things? Um, yes, and also both IP technically rely very heavily on other PlayStation IP through cosmetics and stuff. But if you bring back, but then Sackboy Big Adventure already exists, because I was going to say do it more in the vein of like a platformer, but that's what Sackboy Big Adventure was, and that didn't do great.
Sold over. I
And
just Googled it. Sold over 1 million copies.
okay, sure, yeah,
Which I think for if they keep the budget in
yeah, you're
reasonable,
right, you're
I
right.
don't see why they couldn't continue to just make another Sackboy game. It fits the family friendly mold. It's not a high budget, but it sells decent enough to recoup their money. Like that's where I'm looking at. I know Sony is in the business of, hey, we're not going to spend 50 million to make 100 million, right? Like they want to spend 300 million to make 900 million.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd love to see Little Big Planet come back in some form, but I don't. If it does come back, I don't expect it to come back in the same form that it was, of like very creation focused. I think like user
Oh
generated
yeah,
content
yeah.
will still be present because that's just kind of what Media Molecule do. But I think it will be a more traditional like game first and foremost from them, because I think like again at this point, if it's make or break, you kind of need to play it far safer than Media Molecule typically would. So
Just
um
just give me Sackboy Big Adventure, but all the levels are just Sony music artists, like the Uptown Funk level and the Toxic level.
damn it, those were so good,
So
man.
good.
So
So
good.
I'm saying, criminally underrated game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I did just look it up as well. This might diminish your excitement. The only thing I could see about the rumor for the God of War thing, nothing kitchen. I was
Okay,
gaslighting you. I'm sorry.
that's all right.
Apparently it's the one rumored to be associated is Steel Wool Studios,
Never even
which
heard of
is prepare yourself. Okay. Are you sitting down?
them.
Excellent. It's apparently Steel Wool Studios are the people that did like Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach and Secret of the Mimic and Help Wanted.
So we should just cancel the game now, or
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, that is a weird. I mean, I know they've done a lot of VR stuff for PlayStation, but like
it's a
that's a
2D
weird jump.
VR God of War game.
Corey Barlog was like, those are the guys. Those are the
You
guys.
have to use your PlayStation VR2 controllers to like point to where you want
Don't
the
threaten me with a
character
good
to
time.
jump. Yeah, it'd be really good. It'd be really
You
good.
can just pretend you're throwing the blades of chaos.
You
You got
just
the haptics to like feel the tug of the chains.
you just swinging your arms randomly.
It's making me want a VR God of War game. Stop making me excited, Kev.
Okay, well, Sackboy coming back.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
What is your long shot?
Here we go. So I'm going to throw out a couple here because they're rolled into one. My long shot, this isn't the long shot I'm going to use, but I just want to say it.
Okay.
Insomniac show up in some form, right?
Wolverine, baby.
Again, this is something that they would save for a state of play.
Yeah.
But again, Insomniac, as you said with Spider-Man 2, have been at Keighley things. Granted, not for like reveals or re-reveals, I guess. But they could show Wolverine off. I think that is highly unlikely. But
Agreed.
if the Venom thing is still real and it's a smaller game that's supposed to come out before Wolverine, maybe. I don't
think
believe
Venom
that it's real.
exists I don't think Venom exists anymore.
Which is a shame. But if there is still in any form, whether it's changed slightly because of Tony Todd passing or whatnot, if there is an interstitial game prior to Wolverine, I think that they could show it here. But I don't think Insomniac are going to show up, because that's the kind of thing where, like I was saying for the last state of play, like we're going to see Wolverine, like it's time, and it didn't happen. So it's not going to happen here. The thing I could see happening though, there's still a long shot for me because again, state of play, but not massive deal. And we know we're going to see it again this year. I think we could get a proper trailer with a little bit of gameplay for Saros from Housemarque.
Feels like Game Awards to me.
Maybe, but then I don't know. I still feel like as much as there is like a consensus that Housemarque is great, I still don't think that they are
They're not a
prime
household name.
time.
Yeah.
I still think like they're very highly revered. I said on No Limits that Saros is actually my most anticipated PS5 game currently. But yeah, I just don't know that they quite have it like that. And I think Returnal, as great as it is, when they did the update for it a year after it came out, I think that was at like a Summer Game Fest or a Gamescom announcement, along with a PC port.
The internet's telling me Returnal sold 1.1 million copies. So
that's disgraceful.
That's Sackboy numbers, all right? If you're again, critically acclaimed, high budget, beautiful. Saros, I think, is them. They're going to try to push even further. I think they'll be expecting more than 1.1 million copies for that. Just because, again, they have Rahul Kohli in it. I think he's more well known than the actress that played Celine. Is that her name? Yeah. So I can see them pushing Saros more as a big title for them compared to Returnal, because this was a early PlayStation 5 game. They hadn't even bought the studio technically yet.
Yep.
So I see them pushing it more. I still don't know if like the general audience sees Housemarque and thinks, oh, I gotta play that game. So I'm thinking Game Awards, you get more eyes on it than Gamescom.
That is true. But I think like, I guess my general point is that it would be something that they could give to Jeff and not be too upset that they don't include in their own state of play or show. Because you're right. Like, I think that they'll push Saros a bit harder than Returnal, regardless. Because it's also with a stunt casting, not that it's stunt casting, but like casting a big name actor as your lead character. It's like I could see in a year and a half's time, once Saros is out, it's like they announced the film adaptation and Rahul Kohli is playing the same character. But we know that we're going to see Saros this year gameplay. And there are opportunities to do that, and Opening Night Live is one of them. So it's a long shot. I don't think it's going to happen, but I could see it happening. So that is my long shot. Saros shows up.
I don't think it's going to happen here. So I'm with you, long shot for sure. To be fair, my long shot ain't much better. In fact, mine's probably more unrealistic than yours.
Oh, hit me.
I think Toys for Bob. Well, I shouldn't say I think. My long shot is Toys for Bob shows up and we finally get the reveal of their next game, which is most likely Spyro 4, but it'll also depress me that it is Spyro 4. Like, not that I'm not gonna. I'll play it, of course. But Spyro, for me, in terms of the platformer IP that I am looking for, is pretty low on the totem pole. The Purple Dragon doesn't do it for me, especially these days. I even tried to go back and play the Reignited trilogy, and I was like, these games don't hold up nearly as well as like Crash does for the Insane trilogy. But I think they've been working on it for a few years now, right? Like, because we know a small team did my beloved Crash Team Rumble, pointing to the poster, as always. Respect. With small team within Toys for Bob did that game, so they've had some time to work on this game. They announced officially, I think 2023, that they were partnering with Xbox when they parted ways with them. So I can see getting an early preview of what's in store. Maybe, I don't know if it's even dated 2026. Maybe this could be a 2027 game.
Yeah. No, I could see that though. Because again, not quite that it has the same cachet as Crash Bandicoot, but Crash has, again, like we sort of have been alluding to with other things we talked about, Crash has done a lot of things with Jeff. So I think CTR was
Hmm. Game Awards.
announced or shown off at one of Jeff's shows, Game Awards. So yeah, I don't think that that's too crazy, man. I think it might be a little too early, maybe,
That's
depending
a long
on
shot. Yeah.
like what the scope of the game is. If it is a more like just quite basic in the most positive sense, um, platformer, then maybe it's ready. But also, that's the thing. It's like Xbox has so much stuff. I guess technically this wouldn't be because it's not Xbox first party anymore, but it would be associated and marketed by Xbox.
Yeah, yeah. It's Xbox will publish the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just where they find the slot to put it. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, right? If it because it'll be a multi-platform thing, and I don't think, given what they've done this year, they worry too much about releases being too close to one another, especially if they're different genres. So they have a
Yeah, and I
lot
also
lined up
think this
next
is
year.
gonna this is gonna be a next year game at the
Exactly. So
earliest. Yeah.
even if they have all this stuff lined up next year, I don't think they are going to have any difficulty finding a spot to just squeeze a Spyro game in. So
They're releasing 3 games in 12 days in October, so
madness.
what do they care?
I like it though. I like the idea. I personally really like Spyro. I would agree though that they don't stand up to Crash. But they were sort of my gateway drug into Insomniac back in the day,
Mhm.
alongside Ratchet. So yeah, I'm interested. I haven't been to. Is it basically all but confirmed that it's Spyro?
It's pretty like all signs point to being Spyro. Like we've had Purple appearing on their like
Right.
website. We've had insiders like people that apparently worked on the game come out and say like, "Hey, yeah, it's Spyro 4." Like I was working on this other game that got canceled, but when they got
Mhm.
bought or stuff like that. Like it's pretty much everyone knows it's Spyro,
Yeah.
which
And if they're
sucks because it
partnering
should be
with
Banjo Kazooie. But
Xbox, then I guess it would also make sense that they are still probably going to be using one of Xbox's IP, which would include Spyro. So
mhm.
get Banjo out of here. We don't need him.
We do. We need him more than ever, I would
Mhm.
argue, with the success of Donkey Kong Bonanza is such a Banjo Kazooie coded game. All right. And the fact that I love Donkey Kong, but it could have been Banjo. All
Yeah.
right. We could have
Yeah.
Banjo Kazooie Bonanza.
Banjo's just, dead and buried,
Yeah.
6 feet deep.
Banjo Kazooie getting jiggy with it. All right. There's your title, Xbox.
That's about 15 million copies right there.
That's don't I know? They don't care about copies. 15 million players.
Oh, that's right. That's
Game
right. Sorry.
Pass.
MAUs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. Well, that's it for Gamescom. We'll see. Come join us Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, as we live react, and you can see
And
all
watch
these
none
things
of these
happen.
things get announced.
Yo, Silking It, real talk. If it was a guarantee that Banjo came back, I would play Silk Song like immediately.
You have to 100% it though, Kev.
I would. If you guaranteed me Banjo Kazooie came back, I would platinum 100%, whatever you want to call it, Silk Song. I'll do it.
That's a risky move.
Yeah, well, it's not going to happen. So,
Okay.
all right, let's move into my topic. Probably won't be nearly as long, but I do think there's stuff to talk about here. So, and I didn't do a little ticker for it, but I'll introduce it and then I'll do the ticker. Is it finally time to leave the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One behind? And everyone's looking at me, oh, of course it is. It's 5 years into the current generation. I bring up this topic because we've seen this last week. I think Genshin Impact has announced they're no longer going to support PlayStation 4. And I think I don't know if they can. I don't even know if it was ever on Xbox One. I know it's on Xbox Series. They might have
Sure.
not even bothered bringing it to the Xbox One. But we also saw what's the other live
PUBG.
service? PUBG. Yes, PUBG. I just like it's one of those live services. PUBG come out say, hey, we're done on Xbox One and PS4 as well. We're moving. If you want to play the game, you got to have a current gen system, right, or a PC. So that has led to a lot of conversation, and I know people have talked about this, where they're saying, well, why are these consoles even still being supported 5 years into this console generation? And we have kind of a weird generation going on where we've never really seen the level of support for the old consoles that we are seeing this generation, especially this far into it. Like, we see things like Jedi Survivor, right? Get it coming out and saying, hey, this is a next gen PS5, Xbox Series X console. You have to be on new gen to play it. Then they say, hey, just kidding, we're going to release this for PS4 as well. And we've seen that for multiple games this generation, where they release a new gen version or current gen and then bring it to the old gen. And it's a very strange situation because people continually point to, hey, last gen is holding us back. They're the reason games still have these like crawl through the space that you see in God of War, right? Plague Tale, even though Plague Tale Requiem is only on current gen, and we still have those types of things. So it's, I'm a little weary about those types of arguments where how and I'll throw it over to you, but like, I don't know how much last gen is actually holding games back if you're not a live service game. I completely understand live service elements have to be like, they have to live in perpetuity, they have to be accessible to every single player. But if you can make your game playable on those last gen platforms, and they won't play nearly as well, right? You have longer loading times, you'll have worse frame rates, worse resolution. I don't personally understand the harm in that, because I look at something like the PC market, where you have people that are like, hey, should I upgrade my 1060 graphics card? And they're like, yeah, bro, they stopped supporting that a decade ago. To current gen hardware that, like, I got a 9060, right? The 50 series is out for NVIDIA. Even the 40, like, at this point, like, I think the 30 series is probably like the low, like the where most people are kind of hanging out, although statistics tell me otherwise. But when I look at that, I'm like, if they're making them for PC, people with hard drives, people with terrible graphics card, the minimum recommendations are so low. Why can't they do the same for consoles?
Yeah, I think it's just, like it or not, people have to accept the fact that there aren't hard lines in terms of generations anymore. And as we've seen with PS4 to PS5 and Xbox One to Xbox Series, it's incremental. Like, the whole conversation around launch of this current gen was like, it's not necessarily about innovation, it's about convenience. It's about quick loads, it's about smart delivery on Xbox, and quick resume and things like that. And I think that this generation has delivered on those kind of things. But I think people are expecting that alongside massive steps up in the games that they see and the presentation. And that is it's an anathema to the industry, in the fact that we're seeing dev cycles get longer, budgets ballooning, and then people complain that games are taking too long to make, but they have unreal expectations of what those games need to be, how they need to look, how long they are. And I think that the bubble is clearly kind of bursting on that notion, and has done for like the last year, maybe, I would argue. But you have to just accept the fact that if you're in the console space, like you said, games don't need to get better than they are right now. Like,
I agree.
could they look better? Yes. But you're on such an incremental upgrade that it's basically negligible. And what are the trade-offs that you have to make in order to achieve that fidelity? Like, I don't mean to slant it, but like Hellblade 2 is a very good example of, like, it looks fantastic. It's the best looking game there is, really. But there are trade-offs, like, inherently, no matter what your opinions are of the game. Like, gameplay suffered, length suffered. And like, that's fine for certain kinds of experiences, but you don't want all games going down that route. And games as they are right now are perfectly fine. You can make games shorter, in my opinion, across the board. and still maintain most, if not all, of their value monetarily. So, yeah, I both agree and disagree with the notion that we should end support now for last gen. I think we should, because ultimately, like you said, it sort of inherently has to kind of be a cutoff point.
Well,
But
Well, does there though? And I pose this because we see PlayStation executives still talk about, hey, PS4 continues to be a very valuable market to us. That we continue to have a lot of users on there, a lot of people spending money on there, while they're not spending as much as PlayStation 5, obviously, because games are more expensive. PlayStation 5 gamers, obviously, if you upgraded, you want the newest tech, you want the peripherals, but PlayStation 4 is still raking in money for them this far after it's come out. Like, I, I don't see the harm. And if it, like, Call of Duty, right, is going to continue to come out on these last gen consoles because it's going to sell millions upon millions of units.
mm,
And if the people they're selling to are okay with the gameplay experience they're getting, meanwhile, you have people with SSDs and 4K 120, like they're getting a better experience playing against. I don't even know if they can do backwards cross jet. Like, I don't know if they play against those people, but if they're playing against them and they don't care they're at a disadvantage because they're on older hardware, I don't see the harm in that.
I don't either. I mean, it's pretty safe to assume that the majority of the income that these companies are making on previous gen consoles is from those live services.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Especially because like first party support has been ended on those platforms for multiple years now. The last first party game from PlayStation that was cross gen was God of War Ragnarok in 22.
Do you think God of War and her, like, people always say these games are compromised, and I'm like, well, Horizon Forbidden West, outside of Hellblade, I think Horizon Forbidden West is probably the best looking console game. I know Death Stranding 2 might also be in there for
Sure.
a contender, but Horizon Forbidden West is an absolutely stunning game, and that's a PS4 game too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think either of those games are a compromise. Now, granted, my only experience with those games have been on PS5, so I've by default got the better version of the game. So I can't speak to exactly what it would have been like to play those games on PS4, but I can't see any fundamental way that what I got to experience was going to be fundamentally held back or would have been X amount better if it hadn't been on PS4.
Mhm.
I think that, like, in my opinion, there does come a line where if you are trying to do things technologically,
Rift Apart.
with perfect example. I'm sure that could run on a PS4, but it would run probably pretty poorly. And
Have
if
you seen? It's not to interrupt you, but have you
no,
seen
it's
the
good.
video? Have you seen the video? Someone got it running on I think it was a PC with a hard drive,
Oh, interesting.
and it looked like it worked, but it was pretty atrocious.
Choppy, yeah.
Yeah.
And like that, if people are comfortable playing games that way, by all means, eat your heart out. But there is a line where it sort of does compromise the intended experience.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and I think that obviously inherently becomes more and more of a problem as the current generation goes on and the developers become more acclimatized with the development ecosystem and thus what they can squeeze out of these machines. That's why you see a lot of the biggest games at the end of these console generations are the ones that really make the most of the hardware because they've had all these years of getting used to it. So, like, and we're going to see it again, right? So PS6 comes out, there's going to be cross-gen games at launch, there's going to be cross-gen games probably going much longer than 2 years, which is what we saw with PS4 to PS5.
Yeah.
So, like,
What?
you just got to get comfortable with that, and live services will inherently be the ones that have the longest tail.
Hmm.
um I can't speak to how hard it is to maintain that kind of game on like a live service, on specific like custom hardware like consoles are compared to the sort of breadth of PC.
Yeah, I would
But
wonder if, since they're ending support for PS4, Xbox One, if they're then upping the minimum requirements for PC.
I that's interesting. That's a good point because I saw that the PUBG were putting out like screenshots of the game looking better as a result of them ditching last
Hmm.
gen. Um, like it will look better than it already looks on current gen consoles because they are dropping last gen support. So I guess that just means they've got more resources that they can funnel into optimization and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, which is fine, I guess. But my assumption is like, unfortunately, this probably also has something to do with GTA 6.
Again, chat is confirming Genshin released new minimum requirements.
Okay, yeah, there you
So
go.
that completely, like, that lines up with what I'm like. Clearly they have a vision for the game that they understand, like, hey, we now have a new minimum bar, and the old consoles don't meet it, old PCs don't meet it, right? So they up the status. And for that sort of stuff, as you were saying, Rift Apart, I think games that require SSDs, require things for technical reasons, completely okay. Games where you can run on a hard drive, you just will have a worse experience. That's where I'm really like, I don't see a reason why they would stop. In fact, I'm pretty confident in saying when the PS6 comes out, we're still going to get PS4 games. And I know that's going to blow some people's mind. They're going to be like, that's disgusting to think about. But like, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't, especially in our current economic situation where, like, I understand the PS5 will maybe it might stay the same. It might get cheaper. We don't even know. It might go up for all we know with these tariffs. But like, people having the disposable income to upgrade to a PS5, let alone a PS6. So like, I can see people keeping older consoles for longer. Like, I've thought in my head, like, hey, I have a Switch 2. I just upgraded my PC, which is like that's my new Xbox machine, essentially, right? Like, this is gonna last me a long time. And it's easier to upgrade than a whole new console whenever I come to it. My PS5 is for exclusives. I don't like, I turn it on when I have something to play, essentially. Like, I'm not using my PS5 every day. When the PS6 comes out, do I need it at launch, knowing there will be those cross-gen games? Knowing that my PS5 experience is really good with the super fast SSD, with the 4K, with the 120. Like, it has all these amazing features where I'm like, games right now, as you were saying, Sam, games right now are good enough. I don't need better resolution, better for, like, I don't need that stuff. I'm completely content playing 4K 60, playing 1440p 60, playing 1080p 120. Like, that is great experience for me. So if they release games on PS5, they're I'm sure they're going to have something on PS6 to try to get you on the new hardware. I'm sure, right? Like, that's how companies do it. But until that comes around, and I'm like, I need this, I might keep my PS5 longer than I've kept certainly my old consoles.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's again going to be incremental upgrades that aren't compulsory or like necessary, but it's going to be more and more about the enthusiast market. Hence, why they will likely have a higher margin of profit by pricing it higher to make sure that they make a profit on each console sold. There's not a
Hmm.
loss up front, and they will try to entice you not specifically with gated access to games, but with features like you're talking about. It's the exact same as Xbox, right? Like, you're not buying the next Xbox, whatever it is, for the games that it's going to have. Like, you're buying it to continue your ability to access Game Pass and
Your
quick
Steam
resume and
library,
all
they're
this
betting
and
on,
your back
right?
catalog and back compat, and but you're also doing that, like you said, to access the new things that that console is seemingly going to offer, like other storefronts. So that's not how it used to be with consoles, but that's also not how it's been with consoles for quite a long time. And I think that it's been that way, and people either don't want to acknowledge that or just haven't had the need to acknowledge that up until recently. And like, it's a tough pill to swallow if you really love consoles and what they used to represent, but it's just
It,
it's morphing a little bit now, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
it's less exciting, I think, and
Of
that's where
course.
people get disappointed. Where I went from my Xbox One to a Series X, I'm like, oh, the UI is exactly the same. Like quick resume's cool, but like it's kind of the same experience. I just have a better, like it runs games better. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what you get with PCs. Like, oh, it's Windows. It runs my games a lot better though, which is great. Like it's faster, frames are better, resolution's better. Like I suspect the PS6 will largely be the same as the PS5. Just I don't know how you load games faster than instantly, but like
The
I
game's
just
loaded before you even turn it on.
yeah, I assume the PS6 will just be like, hey, we can do like our resolution is more locked in at 4K. Our frame rates are 60, 120. Like they're more pushing that and less, hey, we have all these new things that are really going to entice you. I think it's just an improvement on what we already come to know and are used to, and that's not going to be exciting for some people.
Yeah. And I think that ultimately that games like this are doing it now. Again, probably I don't think it's a coincidence that they're doing this in the looming
Hmm.
shadow of GTA 6, where if there is going to be a game that does a mass exodus of people from last gen to current gen, it's going to be GTA. And I think that giving people this heads up that that's going to cease, and by proxy, that means that they can make sure that this current gen that a lot of people will be upgrading to has the best version of their game that they can access. And it will be maybe not necessarily, like copium for those developers, but like more enticing of an option to play apart from GTA 6. You don't want to get dwarfed because you're still trying to support PS4, and thus your
Hmm.
game looks even weaker compared to GTA 6 and, of course, GTA Online. You want to make it as compelling an offer as possible to consumers, and I think that they're doing this and giving themselves that sort of year-ish leeway to give people one time to prepare and that they know that it's going to happen ahead of time, which is good, obviously, for consumers, but also lets them put in that extra dev time when support ends prior to GTA 6 so that they can be ready to go as soon as people pick up the PS5s or new Xboxes or whatever.
Hmm. For sure. Yeah. So to answer my own question, no, no. I mean, is it time to leave them behind? Yes, you should get a new console. But are developers going to? I don't think so.
Mm.
Not on mass anyway.
Yeah, it's very subjective.
Yeah, not. We'll see it on a case by case basis.
Yeah. Oh, we love that case by case, don't we? We love
Don't
case by
even. You
case.
know what? All right. It's just these four games,
Just these four that are
and
ending support.
then case by case.
None others will end their support.
All right, let's go to our Patreon topic. So, if you don't know, here on Shared Save, you can go to patreon.com/save the game media. And if you're a patron at the $1 tier or higher every week, I put a thread out on Wednesday. You can write in with a topic suggestion. I will then randomly pick one for the public show that you're listening to right now. The rest will be saved for our Patreon exclusive episode to answer. And we got some questions lined up, let me tell you already. But this week's Patreon topic goes to the man checking out, or man or woman. I'm not, I don't want to assume. The person checking out our 7-day free trial, Black Wyver, who says, with many rumors floating around about Naughty Dog's next game that's not intergalactic, what would you guys want to see? Uncharted 5 is my choice, but I could also see The Last of Us Part 3 or a new IP. Thanks, Black Wyver. Sam, any of those? You want Uncharted 5, you want Last Part 3, or you want a new IP that isn't intergalactic?
Well, thank you for the question, of course. I'm naturally going to be inclined to lean towards new IP all the time. I think that is almost always preferable. And PlayStation, I would say, of all the big three publishers, have had the best track record of just moving on and doing new stuff. They don't linger, and I lament that often. Bring back Resistance, please.
Sly Cooper.
Infamous, Killzone, all of them. Bring it back. Fat Princess, make it happen.
Puppeteer.
Mag.
We can go all night.
Twisted Metal. Um,
I don't know.
yeah, maybe. So I would say new IP, but I that's what I would want, I think. But I don't realistically see Naughty Dog doing 2 new IP concurrently. Because I think that would back burner Last of Us Part 3 too much. But I don't think that this other game is Part 3. I say that because we know realistically that it's Sean Esque leading the project. He's been back at Naughty Dog since 2021. He did Last of Us Part 1, that remaster, remake, whatever. And since sort of 2022, he's been on whatever this other project is. And if it was Last of Us Part 3, I don't see Neil being comfortable handing off what you would assume is the conclusion of that IP to somebody else. I think he would want to be directing that. And obviously, right now, he's directing Intergalactic. So I don't know that it's Uncharted 5, but I think it is Uncharted.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it is Uncharted 5, but my inclination would be to lean towards another Lost Legacy type thing, another Miles Morales sized project, maybe slightly larger, because I feel I read somewhere that whatever this second project isn't a small thing, like it's another full scale project. But you can play fast and loose with that kind of terminology. I'm not even sure that that's accurate, what I just said. And Sean Esque was the director for Uncharted Lost Legacy. So he's directed an Uncharted spin-off type game before. And I feel like Uncharted's been gone for probably by the time this game comes out, whatever it is, Uncharted will have been gone for a decade. So I think you can bring it back.
So not, I'm trying to think about how I want to answer this because the game that isn't intergalactic, we know they're working on The Last of Us Online. That's been shelved. I would also like a new IP. Although we are getting intergalactic, so how greedy can we really be? I just like new things, right?
Yep.
If I have to think logically about this, I can see arguments for both a new Uncharted game. I'm not saying Uncharted 5, a new Uncharted game, and The Last of Us Part 3. If we're going through my logic for Uncharted 5 or a new Uncharted game, sorry, a new Uncharted game, I think, yes, and chat's pointing this out. The rumor is Cassie Drake is going to
Yep.
have her Uncharted game, and I've never played any of the Uncharted games. All right, uh, Kyle played them. My brother likes one and a half of them, I believe he says.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So and to be honest, the aesthetic never really was my thing. I'm also
Sure.
not like a Tomb Raider guy, and this is very Tomb Raider coded. I'm surprised I liked Indiana Jones as much as I did, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it's not my aesthetic. It's not my type of game. But if I'm thinking logically, they've let the IP sit. It's one of their biggest IPs. I think they're doing more movies with Tom Holland, right? Like the Uncharted movie did well enough commercially, critically, that I think they're going to continue doing that. So could they have a game come out that would benefit the movie? And I don't know if that's a Cassie led game because, as far as I know, she's not in the movies. Uh, so I don't know how much synergy there would be between that, but maybe just the name recognition alone, I can see them unfortunately doing like, and I think they already did this, right? They already did. Did they do their whole collection remastered, or was it just certain games remastered?
No, so they did what was it called? Nathan Drake Collection was PS4 and it did 1, 2, and 3. And then they did the Legacy of Thieves, which was 4 and
Yes.
Lost Legacy.
Okay, so I can see maybe a remake, remaster, kind of Last of Us style, right, for PS5 to promote movies, and then maybe lead into a Cassie-led game, which I don't know if that's what the fans want or if that's just something that Naughty Dog's gonna give them. That's my logistics behind an Uncharted game. What I actually think is probably more likely, like I do think an Uncharted game is going to come. I don't know if it's going to be from Naughty Dog. What I think is probably more realistic is Intergalactic and The Last of Us Part 3, to be honest. And I say that because I think the HBO show, they really need to get The Last of Us Part 3 going out so they can wrap up the series, unless they really do intend for part 2 to be the end and they're not going to do any more TV, which I think HBO would have a problem with, because even though fans of the games like myself have been pretty disappointed with the direction of season 2, I do think it's still a critical success for them in terms of like nominations for awards, viewership, even though it's gone down a little with Pedro Pascal exiting, quote quote. Yeah. Oh, that might have been a spoiler. Sorry, everyone. Uh, you probably seen it at this point. I do think part 3 is probably the more logical step for the studio to take in terms of lining up with synergy in their multimedia push and finishing an IP that people are asking for it to be finished. Because I think you could have left The Last of Us Part 1 and been like, that's it. That's the whole story, right? But you made 2, and 2 doesn't really end all that satisfying, in my opinion. So I think you need to kind of continue and wrap things up. But
Interesting.
yeah,
And you think Neil would be fine handing off directing to someone else for it?
I think he would be involved. Like,
Mm.
he's clearly shown that he is okay giving the IP to someone else and letting them have their interpretation, as we've seen with Craig Mazin, right? Where
Yeah.
he has very much taken it with, I know it's TV, but he's taken Neil's baby here and turned it into The Last of Us, kind of. So I can see him having input on the story, like, hey, you have to hit these guys, you have to hit these big bullet points, right? These are
Mm.
like the overall themes. But I don't know, like, I don't think he would, if he trusts this person, if he's good with it, I don't see a problem.
So sort of like what Corey Barlog did
Yes.
for Ragnarok, where he had like you got to hit these notes,
Yep.
but he was other than that relatively hands off outside of consulting. Yeah, I mean that could work. I mean, I saw Kyle saying that Uncharted 1 could use a remake, which that could also be what they do, where they go back and remake the old Uncharted's. Sort of like what you were saying, what they did with Last of Us. Like maybe they do that. Uncharted 1 certainly could use a remake.
Let me tell
Um,
you, if we get a trailer for Uncharted 1 remake, people are going to love it. The internet will be ecstatic.
I mean, the one I agree. I think that there would be a degree of leniency. Obviously, optically, it's not great because it would just
At least
suggest
it's
outside of
old.
intergalactic. Exactly, it's like you're doing something that is worthy of a remake.
But also, I think they would start calling Naughty Dog the remake remaster
Yeah,
studio.
ignoring the intergalactic is there, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but I think there is also the potential of it being a Last of Us thing, but not Last of Us 3. Um, like Neil has said multiple times that there was discussions about, again, sort of like a Lost Legacy, Miles Morales style game centered around Tommy. And they had a story mapped out for it, but they just weren't sure what they were going to do with it. And he said maybe it's going to be TV or a film or a game. He's not sure. Maybe that is something that he could hand off to someone else. I still feel like he'd probably want to be directing part 3, in my opinion. But if he was handing off like a side story that could keep Last of Us fans satiated in that interim, where you go intergalactic into a Last of Us spin-off game, and then you have, whilst that's coming out, Neil working on part 3 to follow up, and the interstitial could lead directly into part 3. I think that could work as well. But I agree with you ultimately that Last of Us Part 3 is in some form of pre-production there at the very least, because they do need to get that out. In an ideal world, you would have wrapped up Last of Us in this console generation, but I don't
Mm-mm.
think that that's going to
No.
happen. So we'll see. We'll see. I personally feel like I'd be fine leaving Last of Us where Last of Us 2 ended. even though it's unsatisfying, because I think that Last
So
of Us Part 1 was sort of unsatisfying
okay, that's
by
interesting.
design. You know, it left things very open ended, and you just had to make assumptions.
I think I can live with open ended more than utterly depressing.
I mean, Last of Us Part 1 was pretty depressing ending.
Not for me.
So,
Not for
are
me.
you one of those Joel is a good guy kind of guys?
No, no.
Okay.
I think Joel's wrong, but still very satisfying.
Okay, if you say so.
Yeah,
The poor little girl got told a lie.
yeah. It's just sliced and diced her.
Damn.
All right. Well, I think that will do it for tonight's show. Thank you, Black Wyver, for your topic. Um, everyone, thank you for hanging out with us. Sam, before we go, can you let everyone know where they can find you?
Of course, people can find me anywhere and everywhere at Sam Heaney. That is Heaney.
And you can find me at the Muffin Mon everywhere. It's a 17IO and 7A. Follow us at Save the Game Media over on Blue Sky to stay up to date with all of our latest content. Until next week, we'll see you. Goodbye.